Hello, it's Maria. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ontario, Canada. Today is December the 23rd, 2021, 2 days before Christmas. So why is there a card with a daffodil on the table? Well, it's a way of introducing the new mini catalog, which goes live on January the 4th, not that far away. Here's the mini catalog. Oh, there's some gorgeous things in here, that's for sure. I can't show you the contents, although I can show you the stamp set because I have got it early. And as well as the mini catalog, Sale-a-bration starts again. Again, the 4th of January, but note it's only until the 28th of February. Too much to drink. Anyway, Sale-a-bration, if you're not familiar with it, is with a purchase of $60 worth of products. You can select one item from this catalog. Free. Yes, free. Anyway, so both these go live January the 4th. So although I'm showing you the Daffodil Daydream stamp and dies, you cannot buy them until January the 4th. I know, sad. But I can show you some paper from the Sale-a-bration catalog that coordinates beautifully with this stamp set. So without further ado, let me show you the paper. It comes in a package of 12 by 12, and there's two 12 by 12s for each pattern. Now, to show it better, I have actually cut the papers in half. And there is a floral image on one side and a more plain pattern on the other. Now, these are the colors in the paper pack. There is Very Vanilla, Flirty Flamingo, Pear Pizzazz, Evening Primrose, Pear Pizzazz, Mossy Meadow, and some basic black. Oh, and some, the name escapes me for a minute. I'm sure it'll come to me. Pale Papaya, right. Okay, so the other side of this is the color we associate with daffodils, although there's a lot of daffodils that are not that color. Here's one that shows you that there's white with Pale Papaya and Flirty Flamingo. Now, I'm just going to take a moment and explain the names of the parts of the flower. This is the blossom leaf. This is the cup. There's the stamens inside. I'll be referring to those names throughout the video. The other side of this, there is the Pale Papaya. Okay, now, there's another yellow with black. I can see some uses for that. Maybe not on this card. Well, we'll see. I have an idea. Now, this is half of a 12 by 12. I just basically cut it in the middle. So there's a lot of cards, different kind of cards, and I'll show you a sample at the end of what I have done with this. And this one, it's probably one of my favorites, but then I like flowers anyway. The other side of that is a grid pattern. That goes nice with flowers. So there is another one. I think I just have a little piece of it left. This one. Of the two 12 by 12s, this is all I have left. I have another pack, so not to worry. Okay, this is the card that I'm going to make with you. It just consists of the dies because I want to explain the dies because, like I said, they can be intimidating. And then we'll make this card. The only difference is I'm not going to put a sentiment on the card because I found that sometimes if you put a sentiment on the card, then you write something on the inside, and then it doesn't relate to the person that you're giving it to. So it's best. I am more and more not putting sentiments on the cards unless I have a specific reason to make a card. Okay, so. But before I do, let me do an overview of the stamp set. Daffodil Daydream And the paper, by the way, is called Daffodil Afternoon. Have you noticed? Daydream, afternoon. Right, they relate to days. If you can, parts of the day, if you can remember that. I hope I will. There's two larger images. That one is a single flower. This is a cluster of flowers. It's meant for Mother's Day and Easter, but man, you can use this card for birthdays, anniversaries, thank you, sympathy, whatever. There is a butterfly. This is a nice border stamp, or you could use it as a strip across the bottom in place of a ribbon. So and they are cling stamps, so they will stick to your block. Now, that brings us to the dies. Okay. Now, one thing that I do with the dies is when I open the die package, this is what it looked like. All of these 24 dies just clustered in this one little spot. And I go, whoa, that's a lot of dies, and I didn't know what any of them were, or what they were for. So I thought, okay, let's just separate them out a little bit. I photocopied the dies because I can never get them back the way they were originally packaged. And then I just keep it with the dies. You don't have to do that, but I just thought that it's easy for me. So what I did was I put them, pardon the spelling mistake, I put them in a case, and I just separate them a little bit. They're not all crammed together. And what I find helpful is that I take the known stamps that you know are for a certain purpose. You get them out of the way. This one is an outline stamp, and you know that or die, sorry, that is going to cut that one. All right, so you can take that out of the picture. This one will cut that one. So already it's not quite as cluttered. This one would be the butterfly. Here's another butterfly. So those two are gone. Okay, so we've got some others. Now these, I'm sure you'll see, there's the stem, another stem, two stems, and two leaves. So that reduces the clutter somewhat. Okay, this is, now when you think of the stamps, the daffodil stamps, think of two-step stamping. Well, this is two-step dies that layer on top of each other, like stamps that layer on top of each other. So we have, this is the flower petal, and then the die that layers on that, it's not going to be exactly the same, but you want some sort of a pattern on it. So this looks like it fits. So there we go. You die cut that, whether it's the same color, a different color, then you just layer them on top of each other. Here's another one. So you have the ability to make two flowers at the same time. Here's another one that, this one does not fit in there, so that obviously doesn't belong there. So we'll put that over there. This one, it does. Okay, it's not exactly that. You may have to fiddle around with it a little bit. Okay, that looks better. So that takes the mystery out of those. Now these, they kind of look like little cupcakes. Die cut that, layer on top of each other. So you have the ability to make two flowers at the same time. So these are duplicates. Okay. Now this one, maybe that belongs with this one. This is a flower in profile, like this one. Yeah, profile, side view. So this layers on this one. And this one, that looks kind of like a propeller, doesn't it? And this, you die cut this a different color. And, okay, you layer this on top of this. You say, okay, well, what is that? Well, if you look at the flower, okay, you see this little floral thing behind it? That's this. You get the idea. It layers behind it to make the complete flower. All right, now I am missing a die, so I've got to go searching once I finish the video. But there is a die that looks like the advantage here now of having photocopied this is that I can show you the die from this picture. Yes, it's this one right here that looks like a little paddle. And then there's this, and you say, what's that? It looks kind of like a fish head, doesn't it? Well, you layer that on top of this one, and you have a flower bud. Oh, now it makes sense. But then what are these? Well, I tell you, I scratched my head for a while, and I'm kind of still scratching my head. But I think what it is the stamen of the flower. I think somehow it might fit in here. And then this is the stamen that it probably fits this way. There's a hole in the center. Maybe it fits this way. Well, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I have to play with that a little bit. When I do, I'll let you know, but I'm not quite happy with the way it goes in the flower. So in the meantime, I think it's the stamen of the flower, the center and the stamen. Okay, that is the dies, and I hope that clears it up a little bit and they're less intimidating for you. So now I have die cut some dies, and we're going to make a card using the die cuts. Move that out of the way. Now, I'm not going to make these exactly the same. Now here you see I have used the black of the designer paper. This one, the flower is Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. This is Daffodil Delight, crushed curry, and then Very Vanilla and crushed curry, and Mossy Meadow. So you can, you can make the stems Mossy Meadow, you can do them Old Olive, you can do them Pear Pizzazz. Personally, I like the darker color. So I'm going to do a darker color today, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. These leaves are flat. The flower is flat. This one I have just treated a little bit so it looks like it's more natural. We'll try that anyway. So I'll leave them there because today's flower card is kind of a mixture of the two. And by the way, if you leave a comment in the video below, the person who comments will receive one of, I've got four different cards. So if you have 4 different comments, each person will get one of my sample cards. So just leave your name and email address and I will contact you. Now I have used 2 different colors just so that you see how it lays out. And I'll just put these aside here. All right, so Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie and Mossy Meadow. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or not. We'll see. So let's put them together. So we die cut one and die cut the other. Remember I said one goes on top of the other layers, so you just layer them one on top of the other. Oops. There we go. There's the cup. Now this one layers on this one. We want to make sure that it's in a certain way. That's not the right way. No, don't like that either. I probably had it right the first time. Nope, I did too. Yep. If you can see how it fits well on all sides. So there we have the flower petal. Now the side view one, that fits on that. And then here's the airplane wing and the part that layers on that. And then this lays on that. Now, I'm not going to adhere them because I want to do a little bit of a treatment first. And here is the bud. And so what I have done is with each of them is I have put some Tombow on, and then I let it dry and I put it on my silicone mat, and that way the Tombow gets to dry a little bit and becomes tacky, and then you can work without getting a lot of glue on your hands. There, we'll leave that. Okay, now what I want to do, you need a bone folder and you need a little foam pad. Or you don't, you can just take your bone folder. You want the petals to curl up a little bit. See how that curls up? In preference here where it's flat. And then this I'll just curl up a little bit. And now I will just put a little bit of Tombow behind here and make sure I've got it going the right way. Yeah, that's the right way. There we go. The bottom of the wings curl up. All right, we'll let that dry for a bit. Now these will settle a little bit. Now this one I'm not going to use in this card, but I wanted to show you how to put the layers together. This little cup, I want to do a little treatment with that too, and I don't need a bone folder. I just want to curl it a little bit. And then I want to put some dimensionals behind it. I've already have some glue, and that was just for demonstration purposes. And I'll use my small dimensionals. Get my pick tool. Now this little part here, that's where the cup attaches to. Okay, right in the center here. There. Reason for the silicone mat is that there will be exposure here, and you don't want that sticking to your paper. So here we have the petals that kind of, they're not quite as flat. Like that's what it would be like if you hadn't done that little bit of treatment. Okay. Right. All right. Now we'll treat the leaves. And what I did with that, okay, you're going to have, put that aside. You're going to have one stem for the bud, and then you're going to cut the other stem. Where did it go? Here it is. For the other flower. So you're going to be die cutting 2 stems and then 4 leaves. And what I've done with each of the leaves is you notice that it's not flat. Neither are the stems. And what I did was I took the stem, and with my bone folder, just the end of my bone folder, I just very gently ran it down the middle. If you won't want to do it with your bone folder, you can do it with your thumbnails. Just bring it up a little bit. So instead of looking flat like this, see the difference, the side view? Okay, so I've done that for with the leaves and with the stems. So I've got all my parts ready. Just move this aside, and we're going to put the cards together, the card together. And the base of the card is thick, very vanilla cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then that's layered with mossy metal, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then a piece of designer paper that is 3 3/4 by 5. My goodness, it really wants to stick. Then on top of that, I have die cut another piece of regular very vanilla with the scallop contour die. Now, if you don't have the die, if you just cut a rectangle piece, wrote the dimensions down here, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and then you're going to build the flower on this. Now, before I do that, I'm going to create some interest in the background. If you'll look here, you'll see that I have different things. I have a dot design. Well, one of the stamps has these dots on it, and that creates interest in the background, and it also makes it look like it's not so plain. So I'm using mossy metal ink and the dot stamp. And first generation, even third generation, doesn't really matter which way, just as long as you do. There, that looks a little better. And now what I do is I lay the flower, all the pieces of the flower out, and I want this around here, and maybe the bud around here. Like it down a little bit lower. Some like it higher, some like it lower. And this is for this flower. The stem, and where's my other stem? And I want it on top of that petal part. And as long as the petals touch at the bottom here, you're going to be okay. But if you've got them splayed all over the place, you're running into trouble. Well, you're not really, but now with the leaves, you can lay them up this way or this way, whatever you like. And the first one, I think what I'll do is I'll tuck it underneath this flower. If it goes off the edge of the paper, that's okay too. And this one, maybe I'll put it up over there. Okay, it's not going to stay on me. But I just want to kind of mentally have an idea where these are going to go. And the other one maybe up here. And then finally I'll have to decide where this one goes. Probably down here somewhere. Now what some people have done is they'll take a picture of this. And then they can hold that camera right next to their paper and say, okay, I know now how I've done it. I don't have an extra camera, so that's not going to work for me. So I'm going to have to try to remember very hard where things were. So I'm going to start by putting the petal down, the stem one down for this flower. A little bit of Tombow. You don't want too much. And it will extend beyond the bottom, but once it's dry, I will cut everything off below the white piece. Okay, and then I'll just put a little bit of Tombow on the bottom here. You can play with the way you would want your flower to be. There. Oh, I like that. Okay, now this, I think I'm going to adhere this to the bud, to this bud to the stem first. And I'm going to lay it, I think that's good. Okay, a little bit of Tombow. So I hope you're all ready for the big day coming up. I think we're going to be in for a snowstorm tonight. Isn't that usually the way around Christmas time when people are traveling? Although I hope people aren't traveling too much this Christmas. Usually we get stuck in a snowstorm. I'm just going to move this onto the silicone pad. And this one I think I might have to put another dimensional. There we go. Yeah. Okay, and if you let the leaf loose and just curls up a little bit, that kind of looks more natural too. And this one underneath here. If you'll see what I mean when the stems all cluster towards the bottom. Just pretend you're putting them in a little narrow vase here. There. And then this one looks good. And if you can't visualize the way a daffodil looks in the field or even in a flower vase, just go to the internet and it'll give you ideas for different colors of flowers. By the way, the other name for the daffodil, anybody know? Narcissus. Add up a little bit. And then this final one, I think this time I'll put it right there. Every time I do it a little bit different. Don't ask me why, but I do. I find it difficult to duplicate my work. All right. Now, there we go. I like that. Okay, now compare this to where I did not shape the flowers and the leaves. It makes quite a bit of difference, doesn't it? Makes it look more alive. All right, we'll let that dry for a bit, and we'll move this aside. There's some glue on it, and we'll get the rest of the card and put it together. So, put the designer paper. Now, all the dimensions, the names of the products that I used will be in the video description below. And if you subscribe to my channel, then you will be notified of any future videos that I do. And I've got another Tombow here somewhere. Here it is. I had a feeling I was going to run out. And like I said, if you comment, the first 4 people who comment on the video, I will send them one of my sample cards. So I have a total of 4. So each person will get one. So leave me your email address and I will contact you to find your address so I can mail it to you. Okay, now we'll do the inside. For the inside, I have a piece of mossy metal, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and a piece of very vanilla, 3 3/4 by 5, and then I put a strip of designer paper down the side. And again, I'm not going to put anything on the inside unless I have made this card with a specific person in mind. But what I will do is I will make a sentiment statement that I can put on the card, and then I will tuck it to the inside of the card. For the one I did the other day, it could have been a birthday card. I stamped it, matted it, and I'll just place it inside. Then it's done. I've got it if I need it. Now, need my scissors. Turn your card over. There. Now I'll just some Tombow. Now you can use dimensionals if you wish. You don't want to make your card too thick. You know what happens at the post office sometimes. I call that the dreaded slot. Yeah. Now, as an embellishment, I'm going to add a little bumblebee. These little trinkets are in the catalog, the big catalog, and I'm going to add it with a glue dot. And again, my handy pick tool. Put a glue dot on the back. And where shall it go? I'll put it right there. There, that finishes it off. Now, I'm going to show you some other sample cards that I have done. And on some of them, I have put, these are little trinkets that are in the catalog as well. These are loose flower flourishes. Aren't they cute? Little wee ones as well. And I've used them with the the daffodils as well. All right, so that is the card. And so this card is like a hybrid of these two. So there we have the two sample cards, and this is the card we just made. So if you have any questions about that, then leave that below. But I will put the dimensions and the supplies that I used, I'll put that down below. So, other cards. Here is one where I stamped and colored the flowers with Stampin' blends, and then die cut it, and then again I used the scalloped contour die, and the word thanks. I did put one on. I embossed it on. I die cut the word thanks and then put it on vellum. This is retired, but I have a number of them, so I like to use my retired stuff as well. Now, you don't have to use daffodils with this Daffodil Afternoon paper. I used it with the Wildcat. I was playing with those the other day. And here is a different way of using the designer paper. Just cut it into 3. And that big one that I showed you, that was just the 12 by 12 cut in half, that's what I did with it. I cut a strip, and then the other strip I cut in 2. It's a very quick card. And here's the little flourishes I was talking about. And here's another one, different designer paper, the single flower, and now it's stamped and colored butterfly, and that's a birthday card. And here is one that I cased from the catalog. It's not finished yet, but another way of using up the designer paper, different patterns. I'm just going to die cut another daffodil and just curve it on the front. Now here's the slimline card that I did. Paler colors, different colors of the flower. And this is a jar from Jar of Flowers. It's a punch. I stamped it and punched it. And then I cut a slit up here and then tucked the stems underneath here so it looks like it's in a vase. Anyway, that's a slimline. And then, of course, I had to do some 3D items. This is a memo pad. Makes a good gift, especially this time of year, stocking stuffers. And I've made some that has a calendar and a post-it note as well. So there's that. And then a post-it note holder with a pen, and it sits on the desk. It's in a little easel. So these are some ideas for the Daffodil Daydream stamp set and dies, as well as the designer paper that is free from the Sale-a-bration catalog. So there is the sample card. There are the two cards that I made from that. I was just speechless there for a moment. That's strange for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new from it. And if you have any comments, leave them below. And like I said, the first 4 will get 1, 2, 3, and I have one more card that you will get as a result. Okay, and any of these products, the Stampin' Up! Product, can be ordered through my online store, the address for which is below, and all you have to do is click on the link. It'll take you right to my store. Okay, thank you very much, and have a very wonderful holiday season. You'll hear from me in the new year. Bye now.